Have you ever wondered how much of the history we know is authentic? This question, provocative and challenging, is the starting point of our exploration today. As we delve into the annals of time, we must entertain the notion that history, as it has been presented to us, might not be as unblemished as we once thought. History is, in essence, a narrative, a story that unfolds over time. It's the account of human endeavor, of victories and failures, of progress and setbacks. But what if this narrative is not entirely accurate? What if this tale has been tweaked, twisted, even tampered with? This is the concept of history manipulation, a topic that is as fascinating as it is unsettling. Now you might be wondering, why would anyone manipulate history? Well, the reasons are varied and complex. History, in its most fundamental form, is power. It shapes our understanding of the world, influences our beliefs, and molds our identities. By controlling the narrative of history, one can control the perception of reality. In other words, by manipulating history, one can manipulate the present. How is history manipulated, you ask? The methods are numerous and sophisticated. Sometimes it's as simple as omission, leaving out inconvenient truths that don't align with a desired narrative. At other times, it involves exaggeration or minimization of events, skewing their significance to fit a particular agenda. In more extreme cases, it involves outright fabrication, creating events that never happened or altering the details of those that did. Over the years, history has been manipulated in myriad ways, across different cultures and eras. From the ancient civilizations who crafted larger-than-life narratives of their rulers, to modern regimes employing propaganda to shape public opinion, history manipulation is a phenomenon as old as history itself. So with a healthy dose of skepticism and a keen eye for detail, let us embark on a journey through time, scrutinizing historical events we've been taught as true. As we peel back the layers, let's uncover the real story behind the story, the authentic history that lies beneath the surface. Are you ready to challenge what you know? Are you prepared to question the unquestioned? Let us embark on a journey through time, scrutinizing historical events we've been taught as true. Starting with the 1940s, the era of World War II, when manipulation was rampant. This was the time when propaganda became a powerful tool, wielded by different countries to mold public opinion and fuel nationalistic sentiment. Think about the United States, where posters and films stirred a sense of duty and patriotism, encouraging men and women to join the war effort. Across the Atlantic, Nazi Germany was not just manufacturing tanks and guns, but also narratives that painted them as the victims of international conspiracy. Meanwhile, in the East, Japan used propaganda to instill the spirit of Yamato Damashi, or the Japanese spirit, in its citizens, promoting self-sacrifice for the country. Each nation, in its own way, was twisting historical facts, bending the truth to serve their political agendas. Thus, the 1940s showed us that even world-changing events like wars can be subject to manipulation. Fast forward to the 1960s, the space race era, another hotbed for historical manipulation. This period was marked by a tense competition between the United States and the Soviet Union, each vying to assert dominance in space exploration. A particular point of contention remains the moon landing. The United States Apollo 11 mission is widely celebrated as the first manned mission to land on the moon. However, swirling controversies suggest that the event was staged, a grand production aimed at asserting American superiority in the space race. Conspiracy theories abound, with skeptics questioning the authenticity of the moon landing footage and the absence of stars in the photographs. These allegations, while largely dismissed by experts, highlight the potential for history to be manipulated for nationalistic purposes. The 1960s, therefore, presented a different kind of manipulation, one that transcended our planet. Next, we enter the 1980s, the Cold War era, where manipulation was a tool in the global power struggle. This was a time of intense rivalry, not only in terms of military might, but also in ideological battles. The two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, were locked in a fierce contest for global dominance, and history became a playground for propaganda. Let's take a look at some instances where the tides of history were subtly steered. The Cuban Missile Crisis, for example, was painted in profoundly different hues, depending on which side of the Iron Curtain you were on. In the West, it was portrayed as a heroic stand against communist aggression. On the other hand, the Eastern Bloc depicted it as a justified response to American imperialism, a narrative that conveniently omitted the fact that Soviet missiles were stationed mere miles from American soil. The space race, too, was a theater of manipulation. While the United States celebrated its moon landing triumph, it downplayed the Soviet Union's early victories, such as putting the first human in space. Meanwhile, the Soviets highlighted their achievements while minimizing American successes. The nuclear arms race was another arena where truth took a back seat. Both sides inflated their nuclear capabilities to appear more formidable, causing widespread fear and anxiety. This fear-mongering was a powerful tool, manipulating public opinion and justifying massive defense spending. Moreover, the ideological struggle was not limited to the superpowers. Proxy wars in countries like Vietnam and Afghanistan were framed as battles for freedom and democracy, or fights against imperialist aggression, depending on which superpower was telling the story. And let's not forget the Berlin Wall, the physical symbol of this divided world. Its fall was celebrated in the West as the triumph of freedom over oppression, while in the East it was mourned as the loss of a protective barrier against capitalist infiltration. The 1980s, a testament to how history can be altered in the name of power. Lastly, we land in the 2000s, the digital age, where manipulation of history takes a new form. This era, marked by the rise of the internet and social media, has revolutionized the way we consume and share information. But with this power comes a new breed of challenges. Now, more than ever, historical events are subject to manipulation, distortion, and outright falsehoods. In this digital age, anyone with an internet connection can become a publisher of history. We're not just talking about historians or scholars, but everyday individuals who can post, tweet, or share their own version of events. This democratization of information, while empowering, has a darker side. Consider the term fake news. It's a phrase that has gained prominence in recent years, referring to the deliberate spread of misinformation or hoaxes via traditional news media or online social media. Fake news has the power to distort our understanding of historical events, creating a warped version of reality that can be difficult to untangle. But the manipulation doesn't stop there. Sophisticated technology, such as deepfake videos, can create convincing forgeries of historical figures saying or doing things they never did. This can cast doubt on authentic historical records, leading to confusion and mistrust. Social media platforms, which are designed to prioritize engaging content, can also inadvertently promote false or misleading narratives. These platforms use algorithms to determine what content we see, and these algorithms often favor sensationalist, controversial, or emotionally charged content, regardless of its truthfulness. Moreover, the sheer volume of information available online can make it difficult to discern fact from fiction. In the face of such overwhelming data, many people may resort to confirmation bias, seeking out and believing information that aligns with their pre-existing beliefs, regardless of its accuracy. So the digital age presents a new frontier in the manipulation of history. It's an era where truth is often contested, where fact and fiction blur, and where our understanding of the past can be as malleable as the digital data that represents it. The 2000s, showing us that with technological advancement comes a new era of historical manipulation. As we've journeyed through time, we've seen how history has been manipulated decade after decade. From the authenticity of history, where we peeled back the layers of time to reveal the truth, we've realized that history isn't always as it seems. It's not just a collection of facts, but rather a tapestry woven with threads of interpretation and perspective. We journeyed into the tumultuous era of World War II and saw how propaganda played a pivotal role in shaping public perception. We discovered that the lines between fact and fiction were blurred, with narratives being carefully crafted to serve a particular purpose. Next, we embarked on an exhilarating journey that led us to the space race, an era defined by competition and rivalry, where the narrative was often skewed to highlight victories and downplay defeats. We saw that even in the pursuit of scientific advancement, history was being subtly manipulated. Our exploration then led us to the Cold War, a period rife with misinformation and secrecy. The truth was often obscured behind a veil of intrigue and suspicion, further muddying our understanding of historical events. Finally, we arrived at the digital age, an era of information overload. Here, we saw how the manipulation of history has become even more nuanced and complex, with disinformation campaigns and deepfakes challenging our perception of reality. Throughout our journey, one thing has been made abundantly clear: the importance of critical thinking and questioning in understanding history. It's vital to approach historical events with a healthy dose of skepticism, to dig deeper, Ask questions and seek multiple perspectives. Remember, history isn't just about what happened. It's also about who tells the story and how it's told. It's a narrative shaped by those in power, colored by their perspectives, and often serves their interests. History, as we know it, is but a version of events, so keep questioning, keep learning, and remember, history is often in the eye of the beholder.